In Southern Africa, Zimbabwe journalist Blessed Mhlanga, who was jailed and charged with transmitting data messages that incite violence or damage to property, has poured his heart out, sharing his journey from his arrest to missing 2 crucial exams while incarcerated. Mhlanga was granted bail on May 6 after spending more than 2 months in pre-trial detention. The IPI Global Network has called on Zimbabwean authorities to drop all charges against the media house Heart and Soul and its journalist, Blessed, who faces up to 5 years imprisonment over the publication of an interview he conducted with a politician. Now, joining us to discuss more on this is the man himself, Blessed Mhlanga, a senior journalist for Zimbabwean online television station HSTV. He joins us from Harare. Thank you so much for joining us on the news, Blessed.
Thank you for having me.
We've been following your story, and you've obviously been through a lot. Can you take us through your experience during your time in jail? Were there any particular challenges or moments that stood out for you?
So basically, prisons in Zimbabwe do not provide adequate food for their prisoners. They also do not provide adequate blankets and clothing for the prisoners. In fact, the conditions in the prison cells in Harare remand prison are very rough and painful for prisoners. So this was one thing that I had to navigate from prison. And one thing is that being in prison in Zimbabwe is very, very expensive, because you have to have your family bring you food every single day, twice a day. You have to have your family bring you clothing, provide clothing and everything that you need within the prison. And getting it inside that prison is very difficult as well. There's a lot of favors that you have to ask from prison guards, and this costs you money. So this was a very expensive moment for me and my family, but it was made better because a number of Zimbabweans individually and collectively donated, towards my upkeep. So, and there's also no respect for human rights within those prisons. Prisoners just beat up. Prisoners are just beaten up by prison guards for no apparent reason. I observed this, and it was just a very difficult moment for me in my life.
I can imagine. So sorry you had to go through all of that. But how has this experience affected your perspective on press freedom and the safety of journalists in Zimbabwe?
So there's a bit of some press freedom in Zimbabwe. The problem with press freedom in Zimbabwe is that you can enjoy it as long as you do not as long as you do not threaten those in power through exposure of corruption, or even giving dissenting voices a platform to be able to be heard by other people. So if you report on sports and all the other things, you can enjoy relatively press freedom in Zimbabwe. But the threat is there, that if you are going to give those we don't agree with a voice to speak, you will be punished. And I think that was the message that was being sent, because if you look at it, I was arrested for a crime, not an interview. I was not arrested over an interview. I was arrested over a press conference that was addressed by war veterans. I was not there at the press conference. I did not speak in that video. I was just arrested because HSTV transmitted that video. So it just basically tells you that even if they have no evidence whatsoever, they can arrest you, they can detain you and keep you in prison for 73 good days, and not take you for trial. Up to now, our trial has not started. Yet they were denying me bail consistently, telling me that they were ready for trial.
Wow. This is actually quite sad. The fact that, you were only responsible for facilitating the interview, yet you were arrested. And talking about, your them not granting you bail and your trial has not even started. What more can you tell us about, your case currently and what you hope would actually happen in this situation that you're in right now?
So my hope and my prayer is that trial kicks off and I'll be able to clear my name and be able to head before a court that will be fair, that I will be able to get a fair trial is guaranteed by the Constitution of Zimbabwe. I also hope that this thing happens faster because I have reporting conditions that have been put as part of my bail conditions. So every Friday I have to go to the police station and report that I'm still there. I've not run away. They've also taken my passport, which means that I cannot travel out of the country. And this means effectively I can't work to feed my family because sometimes, you have to travel out for duty, and this gives you access to other opportunities as you travel, and I can't do that at the moment. So it is quite sad for me that I have to endure this long period waiting for a trial and not knowing what is going to happen at that trial, not knowing what is going to be the verdict. So every single day in my mind and around my family, we are worried about this, and we are hopeful that it should be done fast. And as I see it from the facts that have been put before, I am acquitted, and so that I am allowed to go on with my life.
Absolutely, Blessed. We definitely hope that you get what is fair. Thank you so much for taking time and for speaking to us on your experience.
Thank you for having me, and thank you to your viewers.
It's a pleasure.